Hello everyone, we are back with another video. So just I guess to give you a little heads up, it is currently 6:30 in the morning and I literally just woke up. So that's why my voice sounds a bit tired, a bit haggard, but anyway, we are here. So if you don't remember, if you watched the previous video I posted, I said there was another speed build I had up my sleeve. I didn't have time to record the voiceover before I went on vacation. So this is the one I was talking about. So today in this video, we are doing a little fun apartment that is kind of vaporwave, retro inspired. So this one was interesting to say the least because I haven't really did a residential build in this style. We do have the nightclub we did for Scuffed NY a while ago. That's a bit vaporwave, but this is like all in vaporwave, if you know what I mean. So we are building this apartment for the owner of that nightclub actually. And I don't know, the owner, he's definitely someone who like lives in nostalgia. He likes to go back in the past and think of like the times he had in the city when he was younger. And he's a really big fan of like 80s media and all that stuff. He's just someone who's very much stuck in the past. So I wanted to give him an apartment that reflects that. And I think I did a pretty good job for the most part. There are some areas where I'm still not quite sure on. So by the time I post this video with screenshots, some of the things might look a bit different. But overall, I'm pretty happy with like the layout and the design for the most part. So that's what we're working on right now, the layout. The apartment, it's huge actually when you compare it to other apartments in San Myshuno, but at the same time, I feel like I didn't really have enough space. So I was only able to get like 2 bedrooms. There is an office that you possibly could turn into a 3rd bedroom, but it's like pretty small. So I was like, there's really no point in trying to make a 3rd bedroom because I really wanted him to have an office anyway. But yeah, there's 2 bedrooms, an office space. I fit 2 bathrooms in there. And we also have a pool, which if I didn't do that, we could probably squeeze in more stuff. But I really wanted an indoor pool because again, this guy is like a big guy in the party scene. He owns a lot of nightclubs, especially that big one that we built a while ago. So I wanted this apartment to obviously be a place where he can rest his head, you know, do what he needs to do, but also for it to serve as a place to entertain people. So what's a better way than entertaining than having an indoor pool? Am I right? And plus, I don't know, I just thought it would be cool. I kind of had some ideas. That was the first thing that popped into my head when I was planning on building this apartment, having like an indoor pool, because I don't know, when I build for Scuffed NY, I kind of think about like some of the scenes I want to happen or to play out here, and one of those scenes had a pool, so I was like, we have to fit that in there. But anyway, that's kind of the layout for the apartment, and now we're just kind of working on the little details. So in the entryway here, we have a little, I don't know, like some little platforms going on because I had the idea of putting in some cool statues, kind of doing a bit of a showcase over there. And as you can see, we're already starting to add in those kind of retro details when it comes to the toweling and the shag carpeting and the mirrors and those really cool, I don't know what material that would be, but those like little podiums and stuff. So you can already see where we're headed, you know, the wheels are already turning, the rat is already running, as the kids say, which they probably don't, but I'm gonna say they say that anyway because I don't say that. But yeah, things are coming together pretty quickly from the jump. I didn't really use like specific inspo pics. I was mostly just going through Tumblr before I started building. It was like, not Tumblr, Pinterest. It was just like, let me type in vaporwave and see what pops up. So I was just going through, looking at all like the vaporwave elements and stuff like that, and trying to come up with an apartment that gave off those vibes that I was coming across. But yeah, I just noticed I didn't say hi to everyone. So hello everyone, hope you're doing well, hope you're doing good. At the time I'm recording this video, I have been back for a few days, back home that is, and I actually tried to record a live stream the other day, which if you were there, you would know how much of a struggle that was. I don't know why it was so hard to. I don't know. I don't know why we're having so many issues. I'm pretty sure it had something to do with my internet because I do use Spectrum at home, and I know Spectrum isn't the best. So I'm going to try to live stream today, and I'm going to plug in the Ethernet cable directly into my laptop and hope that works. If not, honestly, guys, this might be, or yesterday, or today actually, might be the last live stream on this channel for a good while until I move or get better internet. I don't know. But yeah, fingers crossed that works out. But there was a lot I wanted to say in yesterday's live stream. Kind of want to tell you guys about the trip, update you guys, and I still might save most of that for stream because I don't know. I feel like that's something that's more appropriate for stream. Just me yapping about my travel adventures. Because if you're watching videos, I don't know. You guys let me know. When you watch the speed builds, do you prefer like more talk focus on the builds and the people like these builds are for? Or do you also welcome like a bunch of blabbering, or do you prefer that to be kept on stream? Because I feel like when it comes to stream and videos, those are like two separate audiences, in my opinion. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. You let me know, because honestly, I don't know. But anyway, I don't think I'll talk too much about my trip in this video. I think I'll save it for stream. But there are some things I do want to talk about because it kind of relates to the channel. So after being away for a while, I had a lot of time to think, which is a good thing because, you know, when you play Sims like all day, every day, you're kind of just, I don't know, thrown in a slump. Even though I still very much enjoyed the game before I went on vacation, it was just, I don't know, it was yeah, that's all. It was yeah, that's what I'm just gonna say, it was yeah. But anyway, now that I'm back, I kind of been re-inspired, have a lot of ideas when it comes to this channel. And I've been making a little bit of updates here and there, trying to improve the thumbnails, work on like streaming stuff. But as far as video content goes, I have a lot of free time on my hand, so I'm really going to try to pump out some videos that I've been planning. And when it comes to ongoing series on this channel, I know we always bring this up. I feel like every few months we always talk about the A to Z challenge because that challenge, why is it taking so long to complete that? I don't know. That's a good question. But for that challenge and like these how to build a save series, like I always say, I am going to finish it because I do like doing the A to Z challenge. But I think for me, when it comes to this channel, I just want to focus on things that like I'm really excited about in the moment. Like I'm excited about doing the A to Z challenge, but at the same time, there's other things that I want to focus on more. And I don't know, like if people also are ready to see the A to Z challenge, and I don't want to be a numbers person, but if it does show up, like a lot of people are interested in it, then I will try to focus on that a bit more. But at the time being, I'm mostly just focusing on what I am ready for in the moment. And that's honestly Scuffed NY, because I just really enjoy building the save. As you can see, we're currently in like a fun part of Scuffed NY. Not to say the stuff in the past wasn't fun, but like we're doing a vaporwave apartment. We're doing like motel builds and all this other fun stuff, and we're making mafia families. So I'm kind of interested in that in the moment. So a lot of like streams and I don't know, maybe even videos too, if the streams don't really work out, will probably be focused around Scuffed NY. Same to go with doo-doo. Like I've been in the mood to build with doo-doo lately, especially since I plan on getting high school years and the builds, or what is it called, business and hobbies pack. So that will also probably start to take more focus on the channel. And last but not least, even gameplay. So I have been planning out kind of a let's play series that's inspired by, shoot, what's their name? Wait, I know it. Okay. Cerebu. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it.
Beyonce, sweetie, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that an ugly ass bitch like this would even say that. Oh my god.
Cerebu and Simslayer. I'll put their names on the video or in the comments or somewhere. But yeah, I've been inspired by them to do kind of a rotational gameplay series. So if you guys know, we do have Meet the Townies on the channel as well. And I want to take that and kind of revamp it. So yeah, that's going to be returning, but it's going to look different. So those are some of the things you can expect when it comes to the channel. And yeah, that's all I really have to update you guys on. Just going forward, most likely just going to be focusing on videos that interest me at the time. And unless you guys say otherwise, yeah, that's how it's going to go. But now returning back to what we're actually doing. So as you can see, we already started like placing the furniture down. Things are starting to come together even more. When it comes to the living room that we just did, that one was kind of a struggle because it's pretty small. But as I said before, I want to make sure this is an apartment where, you know, you can bring people and entertain them. So I was trying to do like a little kind of conversation pit. So that's why I sunk the floor. And also that's why I was playing around with platforms too, because I feel like, I don't know, houses and condos back then, they're a bit more experimental when it comes to architectural design. So that's why I was playing around with the platforms, adding in like these feature walls and kind of dividing up a space in a way that you might not normally see in current times, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really that big on architecture, to be honest, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to make that kind of a conversation pit, but as you can see, it's a bit small. So I was kind of struggling with like placing the TV and stuff, and now looking back on it, I think I might go back and take the TV out and reposition the couches. So again, that's something you might see that looks different when we get to the screenshots. But now we're in the dining room, and I'm actually happy with how this turned out. Like when it comes to the interior design, like the fabrics, the patterns, the colors I use, I think I snapped, to be honest. Not to toot my own horn, but like look at this. That looks so amazing. I love that carpet and that rug and those chairs. But yeah, just kind of continuing that theme of just, even though it's only 2 people that stay here, there's the club owner and his daughter, who we'll talk about later when we get to her room, because she is a pretty interesting character. Even though it's just 2 people staying here, I wanted this space to feel like they're never really alone. Like the club owner, he's always inviting people over because he's making deals, and that's either through, you know, having dinners or throwing parties. He's kind of I don't want to say a playboy, but he's a bit experimental. Let's just say that. So he's probably having like dinner parties, but also dinner parties, if you know what I mean. So that's why we have a lot of seating going on. We have really nice space to host some fancy dinners in the dining room. A lot of seating there, even though it's only 2 people. Yeah, we're kind of flying through this build actually. So now we're moving on to the kitchen, and yeah, the kitchen turns out pretty nice. Don't really have much to say there. Do I have anything to say right now? Maybe not, so I might go quiet for a bit. I don't know, we'll see. Dropping back in to say again, I cannot iterate enough how like this apartment is so huge. Like when you look at it and there's no walls or anything up, you're like, how am I gonna like split up this space? How am I gonna do this? But after I had the floor plan and stuff, I'm like, okay, I feel like I have no space. And the kitchen was kind of a struggle too, because even though I feel like it's pretty big for a kitchen, it still feels pretty tiny. And it doesn't help that I placed that owl in the middle of the kitchen. But at the same time, I feel like we needed an owl, because without it, it would be a pretty empty space. You know, it felt like a vacuum in the middle, Maybe I could have did like a small table. I don't know. You guys let me know. Should we just go with like one of those like high top tables in the middle? Maybe I might play around with that. Ooh, excuse me. I'm gonna cut that out. I might play around with that after I finish this voiceover. But I don't know. I just wanted to make sure there's a lot of seating, there's a lot of space for people to come over and congregate. So I thought it was important to place some type of seating arrangement in the middle, but also to have that counter space because, yeah, counter space is important when it comes to building kitchens in The Sims. You need space for your Sims to cook, and Sims are kind of dumb. So even if you do have an available counter space, they'll act like you don't, and they'll try to go to the bathroom. So I did make it a point to just give them ample counter space when it comes to the kitchen. Now, do these people actually cook, and will they be using this kitchen? Probably not, because let's talk about the promoter guy for a second. Promoter guy, he's always busy, even though he has people that are managing and running his clubs for himself. I feel like outside of like throwing parties and hosting people at his house, he's not really home. And his daughter, she definitely doesn't cook. Like, she barely does anything for herself. She's pretty much like a spoiled princess type. So yeah, that kitchen is probably barely getting any use unless they're having a dinner and they're having someone over that is, what do you call it, catering. So yeah, that kitchen is pretty much just there for like decoration and like an overflow type of situation. So if there's a lot of people in the dining room and in the den, then you can just go over to the kitchen and sit over there. But now we're moving to my favorite part of this build, which is the bedroom for the guy's daughter, and her name is Chloe. The other guy, I haven't given him a name yet, so that's why he's just being called guy and club promoter. But Chloe is a very interesting girl, and I have posted some pictures of her in the Discord and on my Tumblr that I made. That's kind of a subset of my main Tumblr, and it's called Lost in Simulation. I'm very proud of that username. But yeah, I'm gonna drop a little picture of her here. But Chloe is a very interesting girl. I know I said she's kind of spoiled and she might seem like one-dimensional, but honestly, I think she's a pretty interesting character. So for her story, again, it's just her and her dad. I figure her mom probably like passed away at a young age, so it's always been her dad. And due to that, maybe her dad is trying to like overcompensate and make up for the love and attention that she's missing from having both parents present. And even though that is I guess a pretty nice thing on his part to try to make sure she feels loved and supported, he also forgets that he has to be a parent and like set down guide rules and make sure she has a strong head on her shoulders and stuff like that. So Chloe, she grows up she's used to having like everything she wants and getting her way, and obviously that doesn't help when you become an adult because the real world doesn't work like that. Or maybe it does for some people if you're like uber rich. But yeah, Chloe grows up to be kind of this spoiled, self-entitled brat. She is, right now she's a young adult, but I don't know. I'm thinking about making her like just a really old teenager or like a really young adult who probably just recently reached like 19 or something like that. But yeah, anyway, I wanted her room to reflect that kind of spoiled princess vibe, so that is why we're going all in on the pink everything, pink canopy bed, pink sofa, wallpaper, rug, because anything Chloe wants, Chloe gets. And if she doesn't get it, then there will be hell to pay. Okay, she's not the type to just be like, oh, that's fine. She will actually throw a temper tantrum, and I mean like a legit one, where she's like falling down the floor crying, even though she's like 19 or 20, which is absolutely insane, but that is who she is at her very base. But deep underneath, I don't know, I feel like Chloe, she does all of this because even though her dad like gives her everything she wants, even though he loves her very much, he's still not really not really present, if that makes sense. Because like I said, he's a very busy guy. He's very much like into the party landscape of the city because he's not only the type who enjoys that, but he is a party promoter. So it's kind of like a part of his thing, is something he has to do. So that usually takes him away from home quite a bit. There's a lot of people coming over, and so she's used to having, I don't know, not his full attention, even though he thinks that he is giving that to her via money and gifts and just doing whatever she wants. So yeah, deep underneath the surface, underneath this like spoiled princess type of vibe she's giving off, I feel like Chloe is very lonely, you know? She's really missing that like genuine affection from people, and she probably tries to seek it out through, I don't know, I guess not the best means or avenues. Like, she has a boyfriend, okay? I'm sorry this video is very blabbery also, by the way. I've been going for like 2 months, and legit, I feel like I forgot how to record and stream. Like yesterday's stream, I was like, I don't know what I'm talking about, and I feel like that's the same thing happening today while I'm recording this voiceover. Hopefully it'll be better. Sorry guys. But yeah, she has a boyfriend, and he's in like the underground racing circuit, because I'm gonna be honest guys, I don't really know what inspiration I'm drawing when it comes to Scuffed New York anymore. At first it was like, okay, I just want to build like a New York City inspired save, and then it was like, you know what, this is giving off GTA 4 vibes, and I like that game, and I want to continue to build upon that sudden inspiration that I'm getting from GTA and apply it to the save. But now I'm kind of feeling like Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift inspired. So I was like, you know what, let's give her a boyfriend who's into underground racing. So yeah, actually I might post a picture of him, or I might not. We'll see if we do. But anyway, yeah, she has a boyfriend who's involved in that, and he's kind of similar to her in the sense that he's very self-centered. You know, he wants to be he thinks he's like the center of attention. He's always seeking out the validation of other people, which Chloe, I don't think she's so much seeking out validation. It's just she wants people to like recognize her, to see her. But he wants people to give him like constant pats on the back and tell him how good he is. So yeah, that's who she's dating at the moment. And like I said before, she's just trying to seek out that attention, that love and affection, no matter how it comes. And this guy, he probably gives it to her, but I feel like he's low-key abusive with it, like emotionally abusive, you know? Like, he knows how to pull her strings. Like, he's not the best boyfriend in the sense that I don't think he's loyal. And I think he's kind of using her because she is rich. And maybe it's kind of, I don't know if you guys have seen that 70s show when it comes to Kelso and Jackie. I feel like it's something similar to that, where he's like constantly asking her for money to like support his crew, you know, maybe get his car fixed up, to help him like get some sponsorships because her dad knows people. So it's kind of that thing going on. And maybe she does realize that she's being used and that he's not the best, but at the same time, you know, he is giving her what she wants at the end of the day, and that's just like attention and love, even though it's not 100% genuine. So yeah, it's kind of a little backstory on Chloe and who she is and her life at the moment, and turning our attention back on her bedroom. So yeah, I did that thing where I just take a moment, take out all the clutter that I find that will fit this room and just throw it on the floor. And now we're kind of spacing it out because Chloe, as I said, I feel like she'll either be like an older teen or like a very young adult. So I wanted to very much give her room that vibe of like your typical stereotypical teenager type of room, where it's just stuff all over the place, but it's a very fun room. You know, we got the little plushy cat and stuff like that. We got the vanity with all the makeup and stuff. And yeah, I just wanted to give off very young, or I don't know, just very teen, very like youthish vibes, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think we succeeded. I really loved how this room turned out. And now this wall we're doing when it comes to the posters. So at first I was just like, you know, she is kind of young. She is like just exiting, I guess, her kitty bop teen years, but I still wanted her to have some posters to kind of reflect that. But then as I was going through and looking for posters to add, I was like, I don't really know what type of posters she would have. Like maybe music posters, but I decided to go with these fun little like movie ones. So we have like Grease and Hairspray, Breakfast Club. I was like, you know what? Because when it comes to Chloe, I was thinking of having her character start off like she's enrolled in some type of really posh ballet school. That's why we have like the little ballet picture up on the wall, because I don't know, maybe her mom was into it and her dad thought she might be into it too. So he had enrolled her in those classes like since she was young, and he doesn't really know much about her, to be honest. Like again, he tries to make an effort, but he's doing it in the wrong way. So he doesn't really know much about his daughter, and he assumed, okay, maybe you like ballet, so let's put you in this really fancy ballet school. And maybe she does actually enjoy it. But I feel like Chloe, because again, she's kind of thirsty for the spotlight, for the attention. So maybe she wants to transition into be an actress. So that's why I just threw up all those movie posters on her wall, because she's probably like really into the movies and into becoming like a big star one day, like a diva, like the Judith Ward, if you will. So yeah, I thought that was a little nice touch to her lore, to her story. Is her dad down for that? Probably not, because again, he's kind of a part of like the party scene, so he has an idea of like what goes on in, I guess, Hollywood or in the movie business. Not to say all of it is shady, but he knows a lot of stuff is going on, and he doesn't want his daughter involved in that. So he's probably not really supportive of her pursuing becoming an actress. He's like, just stay at this ballet school. You have the talent. If you succeed, you can go on and be a star in the dance world. You don't have to worry about all these shady, creepy guys in Del Sol. I'd rather you just stay at the dancing school. But yeah, that's not what she wants. She's trying to transition into the Del Sol life. And now we're moving into her nice little walk-in closet. And again, I know I keep talking about like how there's not really that much space in this like gigantic apartment. And you know what? Even though I was saying that, I was like, I still want her to have a walk-in closet, because that's just so Chloe. That's just so Chloe, and it's so the story. Because her dad was like, yeah, sure. Like, you need space to put all your things. I understand. So I feel like this room was supposed to be, I don't know, maybe this was supposed to be like the master bedroom, but they reconfigured it so Chloe can have it, and therefore she can have a walk-in closet. So yeah, I thought that was a nice idea, but also at the same time, to be honest guys, I hate doing walk-in closets because I never know what to place. It's a closet, you just throw shoes and clothes, but at the same time, I don't feel like I have enough shoe and clothes CC. So I'm like, what do I even put in here? So I just threw some shoes. I just threw some purses, even though like they're the same, just different swatches, and maybe like some plushies he had. Because I feel like even though Chloe's this type of girl that like, she wants to act like she's older and more mature than what she really is. That, I don't know, she's still kind of a kid at heart. You know, she still likes to collect like little plushies. She still watches like, I don't know, like Disney Channel movies and stuff or shows. Not to say like you have to be a kid to watch Disney Channel movies, okay? But you know, that's the type of like vibe she's giving off, I guess. But yeah, she's still very much a youngin' at heart, no matter how old she tries to act. You know, sneaking into clubs and hanging out with her friends late at night. She's still very much a little teeny bopper at heart. But yeah, this is her nice little walk-in closet. Just throwing up some stuff here. And then after, I believe we move on to her father's room, where we can talk a little bit more about who he is. So this is the father's bedroom, and I found this really cool bed, and I was like, yes, let's do that. So yeah, this bed is kind of like the centerpiece. So I kind of center everything around this bed because it really gives off the vibes that I'm going for. You know, what's more vaporwave than that, I feel like, or more retro. So yeah, we go with that. And honestly, outside of this bed, this whole room was kind of a struggle. And this is another space that I might go back and change. So when we get to the screenshots, it might look a bit different. Because, okay, when I came in building, I had an idea of putting down this bed and raising it up on a platform. Because, again, when it comes to these more like retro builds, I feel like it was a bit more experimental. So when it comes to like platforms and the design of the space, I guess. So I wanted to raise the bed up on the platform because I thought that was cool. But then after that, I was like, what else do I put around this room? You know, what would he have in here? So that was kind of a struggle. Because again, he's not really home that much. So versus Chloe, where I kind of had an idea of how I could decorate her space, what she might have in there, what she might be using, all that stuff. For him, I'm like, what would he have in here? And now that I'm kind of thinking about it, maybe he just has like a bunch of random like artwork and statues that he's like collected and just thrown in here maybe. But if I remember correctly, I do put like an open closet type of situation on the wall with the door, and then off to the side we just have like a little seating space because yeah, he mostly just comes here to sleep and maybe do some woohooing because yeah, he's very into that. But yeah, when it comes to the dad, again, I don't have a picture to show here because I haven't really took any pictures of him yet, but you already know, party promoter, very big in the nightlife scene. He owns one of the biggest clubs in San Myshuno. But he also has connections to the Simkuza because, of course, guys, of course, there's no one in the save that does not have connections to any type of organized crime. But he's not actually like a part of the organization. I feel like he's an affiliate in the sense that, you know, he makes deals with them. He probably like, you know, hires them out for protection, that type of thing, or if he needs to get party favors to supply the patrons of his clubs, he reaches out to them, that type of thing, you know. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. So yeah, he has a kind of partnership with them. And when it comes to his character, all that I really have is he is kind of a shady businessman. You know, he's the type that if there's another club that's up and coming, he's definitely going to try to sabotage them. You know, he wants to be numero uno. So if he needs to step on a few backs to get there, he's willing to do that. And he's also, I don't know, I wouldn't say he's a ladies' man, but he is into, I don't know how to say it. How do I say it? He's just in having a good time. Let's just leave it at that. So, yeah, as I said before, always having parties, always having people over. And that's all I really have for him so far. Because for me, when it comes to this family, Chloe is like the one that caught my interest. So I have a lot more to say about her versus her dad, who I'm still trying to like think of. So if you guys have any ideas, feel free to share. But yeah, I don't really have too much on him for now. But what I do have to say is, as you can see, we're working on his master bathroom. And this was another like very hard thing to do because the bathroom, I don't know, I feel like it's a pretty decent space, but at the same time it feels too gigantic, so I didn't really know what to do, and the placement of the windows didn't help. But when it comes to these lots, like these apartment or penthouse lots, I like to try to build in the shape of the like building below. So I could have moved the windows, but I thought that would look weird. So I wanted to place the windows so they lined up with the windows below. And that kind of handicapped me, I felt like, because then I was forced to place like the shower and stuff in like a specific area. So yeah, this is just me kind of like figuring out, okay, what the heck are we gonna do? Where am I gonna put the bathtub? I'm gonna put the shower. How am I gonna lay out this? So this is a good view of how it's not easy to build, because I feel like when you watch people do like speed builds, especially, they tend to cut out like these parts like this where they're just struggling and constantly like deleting and reconfiguring things. But I left this in so you can see how I do struggle. But I feel like at the end we do come up with something that's not terrible. I still don't know how I feel about it. Maybe I'll go back, maybe I'll have different ideas, but I think we just go with like this little bathing room basically, where we have the bathtub, the shower, all in this little alcove area. And it's fine. Yeah, I think it's fine for now. Doesn't look too bad now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, okay, I'm convincing myself. I think this is fine, because I don't know what else I would do. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the master bathroom when it comes to the layout. And then we just go around and add clutter, because you need clutter, right? Even though he doesn't really live in this space, he's not here all the time, I still want to show that, you know, he does use it every once in a while. So we do add some clutter here. So you guys see what I mean? Like how large this bathroom is. This is pretty much, I think, like the final product or layout of the bathroom, and you just have that big empty space in the middle. I don't know, maybe I'll go back and add like an ottoman or something. But yeah, we're now slowly approaching the end of the video. We only have about 5 minutes left of footage before we jump into the screenshots, and I'm just going around doing the final touches. I did add another bathroom in this apartment, but I cut it out because that bathroom was like extremely simple. I just placed like the basic furnishings and then maybe a few things Chloe would have when she's using the bathroom. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start wrapping up the video. As I said before, when we get to the screenshots, some things might look a bit different because I will probably go and like fix some of the things that I want to fix, but for the most part, what you see is the end result of this apartment, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out for the most part. It was very fun because, again, this was my first time doing like this type of design when it comes to a residential or apartment build. So I hope you enjoyed it too. Hope it was fun. And yeah, what else to say? Yeah, you can expect, I guess, a lot more Scuffed New York doo-doo and some gameplay videos coming out on the channel in the future. And hopefully, I don't know, hopefully I'll be in the mood again or be a bit more excited to do A to Z and all that other stuff so we can finish up those series. But as always, guys, I hope you're having a good day, evening, morning, whatever and whenever you're watching this video. And hopefully I will see you next time and when we do a live stream. But if you don't see any more live streams after this, just know live streams are dead because technology hates me. Okay, anyway, I'm going to stop talking. Bye, guys. Hope you have, a good rest of your day or whatever. Oh, gosh, bye.